think my dream date would be Richard Gere. You cannot take it into the industry and say I'm a gold medalist and that's why I should get the best job. So you can't take a certificate. This is not like an engineering graduation where you take a certificate and say I came first in class. Just because I do a bed scene on screen doesn't mean I'm ready to sleep with everybody back, like behind camera. This industry is like a gamble. You cannot really decide who will do well and who will not. It's a dreamy world and everybody likes to be in dreams. And then as an actor, you're dead if you're trying to copy someone. Hollywood, all the stars walk down in their pajamas at any hour in slippers and it doesn't matter. Actually, SMS, I think I was very lucky because Vigaran was starting in their first film. Jeeva was opposite me because when I started, I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't know anything about Tamil industry. So the first film, I got really lucky. And I'm a person who likes to work hard. So I give my best in whatever I do. And SMS also, I loved the script when I heard it itself. And I gave my best. And I was just lucky that it did very well. People really liked me. And SMS was another film where rarely women in the Tamil industry have an equal role with the hero, which happened with me in SMS. And so I guess people accepted my performance also. And my main aim during SMS also was that nobody should say that I'm not a Tamilian, which was my main aim. So I had to really work on the language and I think it's come across. In fact, not many people know that I'm not a Tamilian, which is I think a biggest plus point. So I think SMS actually made me. I am a person who likes to do performance-based roles. So even I didn't go the usual way, the way other heroines went probably. Second film, I got a cop role, which was a villain role. And I thought my first movie, I'm a typical girl next door, very sweet, very bubbly, very chirpy. And a typical girl, a normal girl next door. And I thought I wanted to do something completely different from what I did in my first film. So I was very lucky to get a role like that because I don't think many people get a role like that in their second film. As a launch, what mattered to me was that my performance was seen and the producers were good. So Suresh Balaji sir was like, these are good producers. So I thought it made sense to work with them. I did the film, again my performance was liked. I think the film did better in the interiors. And that was a good break. In fact, I am very happy. A lot of people have mixed opinions about that film, about my role in that film, etc., etc. But I think I'm very happy I did that film. I think I'm really lucky, really glad that I'm a part of Nanban. And I'm really looking forward to people's, reactions onto my performance. So let's hope, fingers crossed. People feel it's a wrong choice, but honestly, if you ask me, I don't find it a wrong choice. Because me as an actor, I'm always looking for roles which give me a chance to act. And just playing the same stereotype heroine, dancing around trees, looking good, being the hero's girlfriend is something okay, I'll do, but it's not the only thing I want to do. I want to do acting, performance-based work. Every time I act, it should be an award-winning performance. To do the usual, what every girl does, like there are millions of girls coming and millions of girls going. You don't know who's coming every day, which girl is gone out of the industry, you don't remember. So I think I want to make a presence felt with my performance. How long, how big is completely immaterial to me. So every time I give a performance, it has to be worth a watch. And that's what I see in Madurai Sambhavam because it's a different role. It gave me a chance to be somebody completely different from what I am in my real life. So maybe people think it's a wrong choice, but I think it was a right decision from my point of view. And also, I think a lot of people have also liked my performance. Like a lot of people in the industry, film industry, come and tell me that brilliant job. So when people in the film industry who understand my craft, who understand acting, who understand filmmaking, if they come and tell you you did a good job, then I think you got your award. So I think it wasn't a wrong choice at all. Actually, to be honest, Film Institute, the course itself, is an add-on to a person's creativity. You cannot take it into the industry and say I'm a gold medalist and that's why I should get the best job. I think you should get good work because of the work you do. So you can't take a certificate. This is not like an engineering graduation where you take a certificate and say I came first in class, and then they will give you the best job or keep you at a high post. That's not how film industry works. It is where you do well, you act well, you are good on screen, and you get better jobs. So I think FTII is just a degree or a rank that I have, which has helped me to grow in the person I am, and which has helped me to do the work I'm doing. Otherwise, I think without FTI behind my back, I wouldn't have been able to do an SMS. Because I wouldn't have known anything. I would have come like any other girl who comes into the industry. When I was shooting for SMS, I knew everything. I knew what is camera favoring. I know which angles to give. I know how to catch my light. I know a lot of technical things that go into filmmaking, which is why it makes it easier for me to work. So I don't know about the others, and it just helps me working, and I'm more confident in front of the camera when it comes to acting. I think because this industry is like a gamble, you cannot really decide who will do well and who will not, because the most ugly looking people have done very well in the industry, and the most beautiful, gorgeous looking women have not gone anywhere. So which is why I think looking at the ugly women, the other ugly women want to think of or consider coming into the film industry and try their luck. So it is like a gamble, and I think only few percent of the people who come in the film industry really do well. But I don't think nothing is going to stop people from trying their luck in the film industry, because it's a world which is so tempting. It's a world which is so glossy, and it's a dreamy world, and everybody who likes to be in dreams. So I think everybody is going to still continue coming into the film industry, however ugly, however good looking they are. I would in fact not consider myself to be conventionally good looking or good looking like out of the world or something. But my main aim is acting, and I love it. This is my passion. So for me, it's not about making it big and all. It's more about enjoying what I like to do. I think for a woman to be a woman always has a sixth sense, and she can read a man's intentions very easily, and I think every woman has that. So it is all about what you want in life, and if you really want, some people, if they really want something, they will let go of everything that probably is their virtue or their something that they should keep and hold. In fact, the funny part is that every woman who is ambitious and who's in any kind of an industry goes through these kind of looks. It's not like it's only film industry, because it's always under the camera and people talk about it, it's in the media. So even small thing that happens is on camera and it's a news. But it happens with every other woman in every other profession. So I don't think it's such a big issue actually. I think all women can handle it in their own possible way. It's not even an issue actually. Personally, I think freedom as such you don't have. I would say even in Bollywood, even in Collywood, the stars hardly have so-called freedom, because you're so stuck under the pressures of how people look at you and how you should be seen. So I can't like just be dressed like I'll be at home and I can just walk down, buy vegetables and come back, which probably I have always done before being an actress. Because I think from any society, whether you're from a rich society, from a lower society, you always go, I mean you go down normally and just pick up a few things and come back. That you can't do as an actress. You are looked at every time, so you have to be presentable each time. But this is something that is totally different from how it's in Hollywood. Hollywood, all the stars walk down in their pajamas at any hour in slippers, and it doesn't matter. I think it is a very Indian thing for stars to be glossy all the time and glamorous all the time. There are pluses and minuses to everything in the profession actually. So I think it is in a way a pressure. I think it's a pressure. There's less freedom in a way. Because any small, you breathe also, everybody knows you're breathing. So which is not a great thing in a way. But there are a lot of pros to it, so it's fun. what changes? I think women should be given more, I should say, women are not only eye candies, they are not only to look at. I mean, they don't have to be only beautiful, just be the heroine and only look good, and that's it. They don't have any other job in life, like in the film industry, which is something I don't really agree with, because a woman is playing so many different roles even in real life, and she's not only being the girlfriend or the, you know, the only the eye candy, only the one who has to look good and keep a man happy, so called, or whatever. There was actually, I'm not much of a gossip maker. If I make gossip, it would be only because, you know, like after an SMS, how did she do Madurai Sambhavam? So that's a gossip. She did Nanjapuram, an item song, that's a gossip. These are the gossips I prefer, because they are more work oriented, they are more got to do with what I'm doing as a professional, and they're not about my internal life, my personal life. I don't like to be talked about my personal life at all, because I believe my personal and my professional life are completely different. I'm very, very silent, quiet about my personal life. I think going to a discotheque, as long as you are going to have fun and to dance, meet with friends, it's a very lively environment there, and it's a nice place to listen to good music, dance, meet your friends. But anything beyond that, even alcohol for that matter, in limits is fine. But if you cross limits and you're creating trouble for the women, and it's becoming violent and you're having fights, then I don't think it's healthy to anyone, to yourself or anybody around you. So finally, it's you yourself who has to be the moral police of your own self, you know. I think dating is, personally, I think it's in a good thing, because at least you know the person before you're getting into a marriage. Because a lot of people, what happens is, meet once or twice before marriage and then just get married. But you don't know whether you'll be able to stay with each other, whether you'll be able to adjust with each other. And marriage is something which is, I think, is again like a gamble, because you're going to be staying with someone for the rest of your life, and how can you just make a fast decision like in 2 meetings? So dating is a very wrong term, I would say, but I think it is important to meet more number of times, to know each other well enough before you get into a marriage. Now, whether you want to call that dating, whether you want to call it official meeting, is completely up to you. I think the most important thing that I as a person fall for is intelligence. I think if a person can impress me with his IQ levels, with the things he talks about, like if he talks about world peace, or not that much, but talks about more intelligent things, what things are happening in the world, he has his own opinions about things, I think he would impress me more. And I like people who think deep, who think more than somebody else can think. Like I don't like people who are very superficial and very, very on the surface, very glossy, very overly glamorous, very overly mushy. I find all this very fake.
Who's the person that Ania needs a dream date to be? Is there any personality?
Not here though.
You can mention
Anyone, no?
anyone.
I think my dream date would be Richard Gere, because I love him. Richard Gere is another plus point is that he loves India, he follows Buddhism, so and he is just out of the world. He's too charming. I think he can make any girl fall for him, according to me. Yeah, so he's my dream date. I will not say anything about a remake, because I don't believe in a remake in the first place as such. Because what happens, how much ever you try, you just tend to copy what was in the original, and then as an actor you're dead if you're trying to copy someone. But a dream role, I would say there's no dream role, but I would try more and more characters, and my fascination is towards characters that I'm not in real life. So if I have to play a prostitute, or I have to play a rape victim or something, I will be more excited, because you know, you are not like that in real life. You have not gone through those experiences at all. So you have to actually imagine, listen to a lot of probably characters who have experiences like that, just think or keep it up to your creativity how you would perform that character. And I think that is what entices me the most, that there has to be some creativity involved, some challenge involved in every role I do. So the problem is that audience normally thinks that whatever you are on screen is what you are in real life, which is not the truth. And I just hope everybody realizes this. Just because I do a bed scene on screen doesn't mean I'm ready to sleep with everybody back, like behind camera. This is very important for the audience to understand actually. Well, I remember Vidya Balan from Munna Bhai MBBS, where she's an RJ. That's one thing I remember. And RJs actually in Chennai and in Bombay are very different. I think Bombay girls are very mad. They're really, wacky and crazy and all that. And I wanted to do that, but I was a little stuck in my language. So if I would go doing this, I would forget my lines. So I didn't do that. And then I realized I also saw some RJs in Hello FM when I was shooting. And they didn't do any of that. So I said, okay, let me not play it that way and let me play it this way. And I just came to it by myself. But yeah, the voice has to give every expression. So even if I'm not doing this, when somebody listens to me on the radio, it should sound as if I'm doing that. So I think the biggest thing that Chennai has is people. People out here are very humble and very, kind and soft, and they really know how to love you. Like if they love you, they'll really love you. In that sense, Bombay is a little cold. People just do their work and they will not keep in touch with somebody they don't have much work to do with. So what I liked the most the moment I came to Chennai was people, because even when I was shooting for SMS and I didn't know anyone in Chennai, I made friends so fast that in no time I became part of Chennai. I started feeling like Tamilians, because it was I just made friends so fast. I just felt part of them so fast. So I think the best part that Chennai has is people. Besides that, I think, Mahabalipuram and Pondicherry is close by, and all this. I love ECR Road for a drive. Some places are nice. There are some nice, lovely restaurants. I would say, a lot of non-Indians are here in Chennai. So because of that, you get a lot of variety of food. Very authentic variety of food, actually. That's one thing I really liked about Chennai. Thanks to all the Kumudam Web TV viewers for watching my interview. I hope you liked everything I said, and I hope you like me more each day. Thanks.